All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us at Your Life Matters for News1.com. I'm Carrie Pink, and we are hosting our Motherhood Chat this evening. I'll be moderating tonight's panel. The hashtag for tonight, so that you can follow along in the conversation, is Your Life Matters. And we want to start by just saluting a global mother. Today's passing of Maya Angelou is a major loss for our community. And we wanted to just start by asking the panelists, is there a quote that they would like to share from Maya Angelou's influence over their life? I actually have one that I picked out, and it's, do you want to grab life by the lapels? I love to see a young girl go out and grab the world by the lapels. Life's a beat. You got to go out and kick some butt. Neffy, do you have one?
I don't have a quote by Maya Angelou, but I do have something to say. Today, I took some time to read about her life, and she was very multidimensional. It is impressive. The things that she's done in her life, she's lived.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She had a full life.
Yeah, she really did. That's a blessing.
Absolutely. Great. So, Neffy, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself? Tell us who you are and where you're from.
Okay. I'm Neffy Walker. I am, I guess, like Maya Angelou, I want to be just a bevy of many things. First of all, I'm a mother of four, and I'm still living. I am a writer by trade. I'm also a designer. I design clothes and interiors, and I do whatever I like to do. But my mainstay is taking care of home, a holistic sort of way of living, loving everyone. Kumbaya, namaste.
Yay!
That's basically it.
Okay, cool. Well, so we're going to get started with our questions in a few minutes. I would just like to ask AC to also introduce herself to our audience.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm AC, regional online editor for Radio 1 and Interactive 1.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
So we're going to start with our first question, and it's the holy grail of all motherhood questions, which is, can mothers truly have it all? Like Neffy, I'm a mom of four also, and I work full time, and I moonlight in entrepreneurship, and I hear this question a lot. And I think for me, the answer is all is subjective. You define it every day. Every day, one day, all we is being able to know I cook dinner and pick people up from school. All another day is conquering everything on my to-do list. So for the moms on our panel tonight, how do you feel about this question? Can mothers truly have it all? And what does that really mean to you? AC, do you want to start?
Sure. So overall, I think that mothers can have it all. However, there's always going to be a time where things won't align. But as they say, if something meant to be, it's not going to happen either way. So that's kind of my perspective on that.
And how many children do you have, AC?
I have two.
Two. Boys or girls? Or a combo?
Two girls.
Two girls. I have four girls.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, and Neffy, how do you feel about this question as another mom of four who also does the whole entrepreneurship thing? Do you feel like mothers can truly have it all?
No. I think that we all just fight for some kind of balance. I'm being realistic.
Yeah.
No, I don't think. I think that, especially we're mothers of multiples.
Yeah.
So that's four different personalities. That's four different ways of splitting your time. And that's just with the children. Not to mention the businesses, the work, the other family, your friends, food.
Right.
It's a lot. I don't think that mothers can have it all. I think that it's nice to think that you can,
Right.
but in all actuality, it's about trying to find that fine line, that balance.
Yeah.
Me personally, the way that I stay sane is I just divvy my things from day to day.
Yeah.
When it comes to the kids, each kid has a weekend, and that's my special time, with them. It's like that's my form of balance. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's very hard. It's very hard. So I've stopped trying.
That's the thing. I feel like balance too becomes suggestive, right? So it's a subjective term. What does balance really mean? You can't equally divide your day into nice cookie cutter parts. It's always, well, today I got to X, and tomorrow I'm going to get to X. That's why for me, I always say all is subjective because today's all is not the same as tomorrow's all. Yesterday's all meant something else. So it does, it ebbs and flows all the time, all the time.
Totally.
Okay, so for AC, I have a question specifically for you. It's my understanding that you are a mother who's raising biracial children, and I'm curious to know about your experience with this. How do you shape their self-identity, introduce various cultures to them, and then also shield them, protect them from the world's cruel stereotypes?
Well, I think it really depends on the day. Overall, day to day, I really don't experience any huge challenges per se. But I also live in a pretty diverse city, being from Chicago and now in Detroit. But as far as the culture, um, being from Chicago and working in an industry that is primarily African American, in urban radio, I don't know if it's just me being a part of the lifestyle, so it comes naturally, but um, I don't just expose them to, you know, the black culture, the white culture, or the Hispanic culture, because in my family, there's a lot of mixing going on. So I try to make a point to give them those historical moments, whether it's going to certain museums and cities and actually going out and showing them where things happened, or if it's just day to day, something as simple as making some cultural dish that may not be specific to myself. I'm German, French, Irish, but it might be something Hispanic or it might be some soul food. So I think it's just in my natural ways that I like to be very well cultured, and I just hope to pass that on to my kids by the simple things or, something bigger. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to go about it. I mean, I think as a whole, as mothers raising children, regardless of your background or your culture, exposing your kids to a variety of different cultures just outside of your own is really important, just to make them grounded and grounded,
Yeah,
understand other people's backgrounds. Period.
right.
No matter where you're from or where you live. Awesome. So my next question, especially for you, AC, considering that you're in a sort of high demand industry that a lot of people look towards radio and internet radio, what are the challenges that you face or the benefits of balancing motherhood with a career?
The definite benefits are the things that I try to instill in them as strong young women, and go and do whatever it is you're passionate about. I'm lucky to have a job that entails my passion, so work doesn't necessarily feel like work. So the things that I'm teaching them and I'm telling them this is your guideline in life and the things that I suggest or if you'd like to learn upon, I'm lucky to have those experiences. Um, but at the same time, there are moments where being that my job is so high demand and something could happen at the drop of a dime where it might interfere with their life. Say, for instance, going on a field trip today. Um, the passing of Maya Angelou, I'm literally driving to the field trip to the zoo posting the news, where obviously that's not the safest thing to do, but having my phone on all the time, where there were particular moments where I would have liked to enjoy each moment of the field trip, it being, my job is so high intense and on call. Those were kind of the negative effects of, my career and motherhood.
Yeah, yeah, and I would co-sign with you on that 110%. I think if that's the one thing my kids could turn me in for, it would be the to,
Mhm.
not be fully engaged in every moment. Often tweeting or looking up something
Right.
online, researching, reading, reposting. So yeah, I totally feel your pain like that, and it is a challenge.
But
You have to sort of
there
get
are
yourself cut
experiences.
yourself off.
Sorry to cut you off. There are experiences too where it puts them in a position to meet and be around a lifestyle or a certain class of business people that traditionally a mother working maybe in a different industry wouldn't have. So there's definite benefits to.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Is there any such thing as what?
As me time.
Necessary. It's Listen, it's necessary. As a creative, I express to them all the time. Like there are times where I need a moment. Like I just need it. I need a moment. May that moment be an hour of sitting by myself or meditating, uh, drinking wine, whatever that moment, taking a bath, whatever that moment is. They understand that in order for there to be like sanity in the house, I need to be of good sound space in mind. Because I explain that so thoroughly, I am able to have me time. You know what I mean? It works
Time
for
is just
me.
not at home. I have to go out to get me time. So I want to take a rule from Neffy's book. Neffy's going to show me how to get me time at home.
Yeah. I'm gonna come over and help you. You sit down and tell the girls.
Yeah, and they're on top of me all the time. So how much me time do you get in a week? Like, if you could approximate, you get an hour a day.
What?
How many
For
hours
me?
of me time do you think you get? Yeah.
Realistically, I would say maybe about 4 hours, 4 good hours a week. That's
Okay.
that's a good me time for me. Like 4 by myself, good hours a week. Or if I have like business meetings, I will make sure that I schedule them, a lunch or a dinner, so that way I have like adult time,
Yeah.
away from the children. Just to keep my own sanity, knowing of politics, to keep my conversation, lively. That it's not always, school books, kids, diapers, pampers, nanny, like, you know. So yeah, I do that.
My next
And
question
then I
is also
also
for
schedule
you.
like, no, I was gonna say, and I also make sure that I do at least one trip per year, just me, or me and my girls, maybe like a weekend. I think that that's normal because at the end of the day, we forget that we're mothers and we play this large role. But at the end of the day, we're still human. We're still adults. We're still women, and we still have our own personal life that we need to nurture.
Absolutely. I'm working on a girls trip right now, actually. You need
Like,
that
count
break.
me in.
Definitely need that break with some sort of fancy drink with an umbrella in it. Awesome. So my next question is for you also, Neppy. Being that you're an entrepreneur and you're a serial entrepreneur, so you have a couple of businesses that you started and are successfully running, how did you find the time to fit them in between your passion, your me time, your own identity, your kids, your sense of style, your fashion sense is through the window? How do you maintain each and every piece and still be a great mom and keep your house clean? I've been to your house; it's impeccable. Teach these
Yeah,
people.
it's kind of tidy. uh, that's a great question. I think from early childhood, I was just raised with a lot of discipline. And when you have discipline and you have like these rules about you, and you have this hustle about you, it's inside of you. So for me, it makes all the sense to have 20 different things going on. Or if I think of doing something, it goes from thinking to actually come to fruition. It's just that quick with me. You get what I'm saying? It's not a long drawn out sort of situation. It's just, it is what it is. Like, for instance, 2 months ago, I woke up and I just decided I wanted to do a clothing line. It was just that simple because I was looking for certain clothes, personal aesthetic, and I couldn't find them. And the ones that I could find were about $700 for a skirt. I'm not paying $700 for a skirt. Yeah, easy. So I figured that the best thing for me to do is to just do it myself. So it just took research, discipline, some money, and then that's it. It launches June 15th. It makes sense to me. I think when people look at what I'm doing from the outside in, they think I'm a mad woman, like crazy. But to me, it just I can't really explain it. It's just a hustle.
Yeah.
Harlem, work.
I hear that a lot. I mean, even for myself, so many people have labeled me the super mom. Even this morning, right? I was up at 5. I washed 2 heads of hair and braided them before they went to school this morning. Like, insane things that no one else does in life, right? And you sort of get to this. I don't know. For me, like, fashion has always been a part of my life. Style is a part of my life. It's something that's in my blood. I don't try to do it. It just sort of happens by itself. But everything else, they always say if you want something done, you should give it to a busy person, right? And I think that's sort of the category we fall into, that people are like, oh yeah, you want to get something done, give it to Carrie, give it to this super mom, give it to this super mom. That's sort of, it's what we do. Moms take on this I can do it all roar, right? Like, and then pray that it stays together. I always say I'm holding it together by duct tape. Like, one wrong move and this whole thing comes falling down. But it hasn't fallen yet, so I think we're good. I've got really good duct tape. So, AC, I have another question for you, actually. Some of the women in your life who have taught you what it means to be a good mother. Did you have positive female role models that you are emulating in your life as a mom, or are you making this up as you go?
That's a complex question. How much time do we have? Overall, no. My mom was not in my life up until probably a couple years ago. So luckily, I had my grandmother to raise me and my sister. But also, too, my daughter's grandmother, she and her mother, I learned a lot from them. So I would say, as far as the maternal learning outside of what came instinctually to me, definitely came from his side and his maternal role models and figures and whatnot. So, but I think overall, once you have a child, at least for me anyway, most of it came, it's just what you do. This is your responsibility. And it's love like mother, as I'm sure you guys can relate. So, putting responsibility and love in the same equation, you just do. So
Yeah, absolutely. I'm similar like you. I was definitely raised by my grandmother and instilled with all of her morals and values. Actually, in preparation for this tonight, I actually put a post up on my blog, which is carriepink.com. And the title of the post is Thanks Mom, and it's a salute to motherhood for 2014. So definitely check that out.
definitely.
Do you find that, well, if you could give a mom, someone, an expecting mom who's watching this right now, if you could give her some tips, what would be your top 3 tips, AC, for an expectant mother? A first?
Well, if she's expectant, obviously health is always first in my book. But outside of that, stress, because whether there's something good going on or there's something that's stressful, it's probably going to be there tomorrow if you don't deal with it first. So I would definitely take the stress out of the equation, but also to realize that just as you're experiencing something new, whether it's a job, whether it's a child, um, good, bad, or in between, you kind of just have to go with the flow and follow your heart. I know it sounds like some Disney movie of some sort, but that's just how I kind of live my life. So my best friend, she actually just had her baby this past Memorial Day, and it was so interesting, the littlest things that she would stress over. And I'm like, dude, don't stress. Like, it sounds easy from the outside looking in, but we've all been there. And I think just taking a breath of fresh air and kind of looking at the situation, I think if you think too much about the stress, you kind of get sidetracked what each moment is about or what the important things are. So it's not necessarily free, but for me, don't stress.
Yeah, don't stress. That's a really it's an all encompassing one, right? It's sort of the umbrella of all other things mother. Don't stress. I don't know what tip I would give to an expectant mom, but I would say that whatever tip I would give an expectant mom after having my first child is a total different set of tips I would have after having three, or four. So after a while, you just sort of realize things are not that serious, right? Like
Right.
the things that I stressed about when I had my first are not the same things that I would worry about when I had three or four. Even now, my little one is going to be two, and she's a terror on two legs and throws tantrums. And I just want to let her, like, go ahead, throw the tantrum. I'll still be here when you're done. And then we can talk about it if you want to. I mean, I think my number one piece of advice for teen moms is just find all you need is one person to support you, whoever that is, mom, grandmother, the significant other. All you need is one. You need one person in your corner, and from there you can do anything. Like I don't ever want a teen mom to think that because she has to see that now somehow life is over. That used to be the gospel
Right.
of my day. You have a baby and you're a teenager, your life is
Oh, it's
just
a wrap. It's over.
and
Kill
that
yourself.
doesn't
Exactly.
we don't want girls now to believe that you all you need is one piece of support and you can accomplish anything it is that you want to do. If you want to go to school, you can go to school. You just need one really reliable person to watch your baby. Like you need one. From there, you can conquer anything.
That's good advice, but if you think about it, that goes for people in general. Like
Yeah, that's true.
anybody who has somebody with them, that is positive and encouraging, you go a long way. That
Yeah,
love that goes in your heart and it gives you that, that zest to say, okay, maybe I can get this done instead of being by yourself and, mulling through it in your head, and feeling insecure about it. So that is some good advice, but that's great advice for anybody, actually.
that's true. Very true. The question is, how do uh, men, fathers, husbands, significant others, grandfathers, uncles, how do they help with this role of life? And I would say for me, there's none of the things that I'm doing right now, none of them would be possible if I didn't have my husband. He right now is home with all four of our daughters while I'm here in News One's office. So he plays a major role. I mean, major. He's like the immediate co-star to everything that I do. Um, so I would say for him, it's sort of being able to say, okay, I'll be there. I'll be reliable. I'll pick up the slack. I'll cook dinner. I'll wash hair. Whatever it is you need me to do while you're doing what you need to do, we're gonna figure this out and do it together. That's sort of our mantra. We're constantly teaming. He's an entrepreneur also, so we tag team a lot where it's like, okay, I'm walking in the door, we're slapping fives, and he's walking out the door. It's sort of our routine. um, so I think that was actually our last question. I want to thank both of our panelists for joining us tonight, Nefi and AC. Thank you so much for all of your comments. And actually, before we wrap up, do you guys have any sort of last things you want to say, experiences you want to share, mantras that you live by? And if not, just at least tell everyone where they can find you and website, Twitter, Instagram, the whole 9 yards. Any last thoughts, experiences, mantras that you live by?
Rated G or
Rated G. PG. Not over 13.
Okay.
Yes.
My number one mantra is forget what anybody else has to say. Just do what you need to do. Or do what you feel is best. Do whatever moves you. Do whatever that's in your heart. It will always go properly. It works for me. That's like my overall advice for everything.
And then where can people find you?
Oh, across every board, every medium, it's just my name, Neffy Walker, Neffi Walker. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everything.
And your website is also neffiwalker.com.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome sauce. So people, please check out this phenomenal mother and entrepreneur, serial entrepreneur with a new clothing line coming out June 15th. Be on the lookout for sure. Thank you so much, Neffy. And AC, do you have any sort of final thoughts, mantras that you want to share, personal experiences that you think our audience can benefit from?
I definitely second Neffy and everything she said. But I also pulled two quotes that I live by and kind of go with today, passing of Maya Angelou. But I think as mothers and working mothers, we have an additional responsibility to teach. And when you learn to teach, or I'm sorry, I said that wrong. When you learn, teach, and when you give. And also, too, I think Oprah said it best when she released her statement about Maya. Just move through this world unshakably calm, with confidence and a fierce grace. And we're all going to encounter different defeats in life, but the focus is to be defeated. And as a mother, as a young mother, a single mother, a teen mother, I think those particular words speak true. And just like Neffy said, don't let anybody tell you what it's supposed to be. And I think with single mothers, young mothers, working mothers, there's so much out there. There's so many opinions. There's so many statistics, but on every side or the other side of every statistic or every quote, there's always going to be another side. So you can't really harness too much on that. So concluding words would be just do. If it's something that you feel in your heart with you, your kids, or your, just do it. At the end of the day, we're all going to be here unless, of course, it's our time to go. So that's it.
Awesome.
And then you could follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at It's Your Girl AC.
It's Your Girl AC. All right. I will definitely follow you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us. Remember, you can continue the conversation even after this chat ends right here on Shindig, or you can follow us on Facebook. Join the conversation there. We're facebook.com/YLM Project, and also on Twitter and YLM Project. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us, and